Hello and welcome back to episode 49 of the Education Forward podcast. I am your host, Sochita, and today we are diving into a topic that is so close to my heart and, quite frankly, essential for the future of our schools. We are talking about integrating emotional intelligence training for teachers. You know, we often focus so much on the curriculum, the grades, and the test scores, but we sometimes forget that at the center of every classroom is a human being, a teacher, who is navigating a sea of emotions every single day. To help me unpack this, I am absolutely honored to have Mr. Sarowan with us, an expert in pedagogical development and a true advocate for teacher well-being. Welcome, Mr. Sarowan.
Thank you so much, Sochita. It is truly a pleasure to be here. I can feel the energy already. You hit the nail on the head. Teaching isn't just about transferring knowledge. It's an emotional labor of love, and often that labor goes unsupported.
Exactly. Emotional labor. That phrase resonates so much. I've seen teachers who are brilliant at their subject matter, but find themselves completely drained by the end of the week. Why is it that we've waited so long to prioritize EQ training for the educators themselves?
It's a systemic oversight, really. For decades, we viewed schools as factories of facts. We assumed teachers should be these stoic figures who leave their feelings at the door. But we know better now. We know that if a teacher is stressed, anxious, or unable to regulate their own emotions, it creates a ripple effect. The students feel it. The environment changes.
It really does. It's like a mirror, isn't it? If the teacher is frantic, the kids become restless. I remember a teacher from my own childhood who always seemed so grounded. You felt safe just being in her room.
Precisely. That groundedness is a hallmark of high emotional intelligence. It's the ability to recognize your own emotional state and manage it before it spills over. When we train teachers in EQ, we aren't just giving them soft skills. We are giving them a survival kit for their mental health and a toolkit for classroom management.
I love that, a survival kit. So let's get practical. When you go into a school to start this training, where do you even begin? Is it a series of workshops or something deeper?
Well, it certainly starts with more than a PowerPoint presentation. We begin with self-awareness. We ask teachers to look inward. We use exercises that help them identify their triggers. What makes you lose your patience? Is it the noise? Is it a specific student's defiance? Is it the pressure from administration?
Oh, I can imagine that can be quite emotional for them to finally be asked, "How are you feeling?" instead of, "How are the students doing?"
It is very emotional, Sochita. I've seen teachers break down in tears during these sessions because they've been carrying so much, but that release is necessary. Once they identify the what and the why of their feelings, we move to self-regulation. We teach them the pause.
The pause? Tell me more about that, leaning closer to the mic.
The pause is that split second between a student's behavior and the teacher's reaction. In that second, if you have EQ, you breathe. You recognize your anger rising, you acknowledge it, and you choose a response that is productive rather than reactive. It's the difference between a shout and a conversation. Breathlessly. Wow, that sounds so simple, yet so incredibly difficult to do when you've had 3 cups of coffee and it's the last period of the day. Laugh slightly. Oh, absolutely. It takes practice. It's like a muscle. And that's why the training part of EQ training is so vital. It's not a one-time talk. It's a culture shift within the school staff room.
Thoughtfully, I want to talk about that culture shift. Often teachers feel like they have to be perfect. How does EQ training change the way teachers interact with each other, not just the students?
Excitedly, that is where the magic happens. When a whole staff is trained in EQ, they start practicing social awareness and relationship management with one another. They stop judging and start supporting. Instead of a competitive environment, you get a community where a teacher can say, "I had a really hard morning. I'm struggling to stay calm." And a colleague can offer a word of encouragement or a moment of relief.
With a glow of appreciation. That sounds like a dream school environment. But I know there are critics out there. Some people say, "We don't have time for this. We have to focus on math and literacy." How do you answer those skeptics?
Firmly but kindly. I tell them that you cannot pour water into a broken glass. If the classroom climate is fractured by stress and emotional outbursts, the math isn't being learned anyway. A brain that is in fight or flight mode cannot process complex logic. By investing time in EQ, you are actually clearing the path for academic excellence. You are building the foundation for the house before you try to paint the walls.
Nodding vigorously. I love that analogy. It's the foundation. I'm curious, Mr. Sarowan, have you seen a specific success story that really touched you? Maybe a teacher who was on the brink of quitting?
with a nostalgic, warm tone. Many, but one stands out. A veteran teacher, 20 years in, who was completely burned out. She told me she felt like a robot. After our EQ sessions, she started practicing empathy mapping with her students. She realized that her difficult student was actually dealing with grief at home. That shift in perspective changed her entire approach. She didn't quit. She found her joy again. She told me, "I finally remembered why I became a teacher." That is so powerful, to find your joy again. That's what this is all about, isn't it? It's about the human connection. Softly. Exactly. We are humans teaching humans. We cannot leave our humanity at the school gate. Clears throat, recovering with an optimistic smile. As we wrap up this episode, what is one small thing a teacher listening right now can do tomorrow morning to start integrating EQ into their day? Encouragingly, start with a check-in, not just for the students, but for yourself. Before you walk into that classroom, take 3 deep breaths. Ask yourself, what is my emotional weather right now? If it's stormy, acknowledge it. Tell yourself, I am feeling overwhelmed, and that is okay. That simple act of naming the emotion takes away its power over you. Thoughtfully. Emotional weather. I love that. Brightly. Mr. Sarowan, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your heart with us today. This has been such an enlightening conversation. It was an absolute honor, Sochita. Thank you for giving this topic the platform it deserves. And thank you to all our listeners. Remember, you can't be a great educator if you aren't also taking care of your own heart. Join us next time on Education Forward as we continue to explore the future of learning. Until then, stay compassionate, stay curious, and most importantly, stay kind to yourself. Goodbye.